Mr. Anton Daniels is going to try to explain what red pill ideology is. And this is going to be interesting because he doesn't really know what it is, to be honest with you. And I think that when we have this discussion about red pill ideology, what it is and what they say it is versus what it really is are two different things. They can say, like, the way that I look at how red pill people talk about, like red pill men talk about the red pill, is the way that the KKK talks about the KKK. Like, if you listen to the KKK talk about the KKK, like, they will make it seem like it makes perfect sense. They're like, yeah, we're just protecting our community. Like, that's really all it boils down to. Don't you want to protect your community? What's wrong when a black person protects their community? Is that racist? Like, they gaslight you, right? That's pretty much what red pill men try to do when they explain the red pill, because the way red pill ideology actually looks versus the way that they describe it are two completely different things.
What's going on with black people in 2025?
We're not talking about them no more. Let's talk about people you don't like.
The inception of where red pill comes from, that doesn't matter. So history only matters when it's applicable to your point. It doesn't matter when it's applicable to everybody else. Actually,
because red pill,
where it comes here, I'll educate you a little bit so that you can get some insight. You and Jess. Where it comes from is the movie The Matrix. And what happens in The Matrix is they offer him the blue pill so that he can go into La La Land and still pretend like everything is normal, and they're basically being programmed to think a certain type of way. Or you can take a red pill and see the ugly truth of what the world really is. For example, men don't get love.
Cap. See? Cap. And I won't even say that's a full cap. It's half cap. It's half cap. He's right. He's right. Men don't get love from other men. He's right. Men don't love men. Men don't show men no love. Men show men a level of respect. Men give men attention. But men don't actually like love, like they don't really have love for men, right? They don't really protect men like the men's well-being. The man's well-being, they just protect. The only time they protect men is when it protects their own interest, right? So he's right. Men don't get love from other men, but men do get love from women. Women do love men. Women do protect men. Women do provide for men. Women do respect men. Like, women do love men. All in all, like, you can't explain why women still deal with men in 2025 outside of the idea that women love men, because there is no reason for women to deal with men in 2025 if not for love, right? Which is why there's been a rise in the idea and that love is a made up, you know what I'm saying? But we know love is made up, but you know what I mean? Like, they're saying like love was created by men to manipulate women, and it's kind of looking that way. It kind of is, because it really doesn't make any sense at this point for women to really deal with men.
There is no safety nets for us.
Cap. There's tons of safety nets for men. There are tons of safety nets for men. Safety nets for men are things like if you go to a job, they're quicker to hire you than they are a woman. Right? Like, I'm just using this in general. We're talking about men in general, which would include white men, then this would apply, right? This would apply. Now, if you talk about black people, then it gets different, right? It's a little bit different when we talk about black people, because I don't think it's that much of a difference with how black men are seen in the workforce versus black women. I don't think it's that much of a difference. I'm sure they don't want black women there either. The misogyny is still rampant. You know what I'm saying? They do punish black women, but I'm just saying, like, the gap isn't as wide. It's definitely not as wide financially. You know what I'm saying? But that's for other reasons too. The other reasons matter too. But I do think that they're, it may be a little different, but all in all, though, they still favor black men over black women. It may not be to the same degree as white men versus white women or white men versus everybody else, but definitely they favor black men over black women. And in a lot of instances, they favor any man over any woman. Like, for an example, in blue collar jobs, they favor any man over any woman. If a black man showed up to get a job at a site and he was going against a white woman and the white woman was more qualified, more than likely they would still hire the black man. So it's not like that's over, applicable to every industry. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, there's definitely a lot of places where just being a man gives you an advantage over race, trumps everything. Just you being a man, no doubt about it. Because in a lot of blue collar work environments, men don't want the responsibility of having to deal with a woman with a female presence. They don't want to have to deal with that. It's stressful for men to have a woman there. They don't get to tell the same types of jokes. You know what I mean? Doesn't mean they won't be disgusting. It doesn't mean they won't harass the woman, but it is definitely like here comes Cindy. You know what I mean? Like they can't do everything like they used to do. And that makes the men uncomfortable. They just don't like that stuff. Also, there's an ego thing. Men need to, women, they don't like to be outperformed by women and things of that nature. So there's that. And then lastly, there's just the regular old misogyny where men think that men are just better at, like, no way she's the, better lineman than this woman. I ain't talking about football. I'm talking about electrician. There's no way she's better than this man. Right. So yeah, there's a lot going into that.
Don't get love. There is no safety nets for us. If we fail,
the same safety nets that exist for women exist for men. Public housing exists for men and women. The reason why women may get public housing over a man is because more than likely she has a child. That's it. A single woman versus a single man, the man will have the advantage. The single woman will not have the advantage. Just so we're clear.
Then we just fail. If we don't pay our child support, we go to jail.
Yeah, you should go to jail if you don't pay your child support. Also, women pay child support, and if women don't pay child support, they also go to jail. This is not a gendered issue.
If we get homeless, then nobody gives a fuck about us.
America doesn't give a fuck about the homeless population. Male, female, man, woman, child, adult. America doesn't give a fuck about the homeless. But who is America run by, Mr. Daniels? Men. So men, again, when he says he's talking to men, like, it just doesn't make any sense. I just had this discussion earlier with the man. The same men will acknowledge that men rule the world, men run, men do this, men do that, right? Then they'll acknowledge that men built all the systems when it's convenient. It's men built everything. And then when I go, okay, so why would it make any sense that men would build these systems and then exclude themselves from it? Like, when the fuck did that happen?
There is no safety net for men. There is nothing that is coming to save us. So what Red Pill, for example, says is, listen, you got to make sure that you take care of yourself, focus on yourself, focus on getting to the money, focus on being successful. Everything else comes with it. The women comes with it. This comes with it. This comes with it. And then you have the option to choose, and you increase your options, or you can decide that you don't want to participate in the first place.
Red Pill also doesn't put a focus on men's well-being. It actually does. It actually destroys men's well-being. So it doesn't tell you to focus on yourself, right? Because focusing on yourself would be eating good, meditating, learning, expanding your mind, expanding your friend group, having healthier experiences, going to therapy or doing things that are therapeutic, not the gym, mind you, but actually working on, your mindset and not doing the fucking 40 laws of power and all that bullshit and 52 laws of power, whatever the fuck it is. None of that corny shit, fucking Sun Tzu, Art of War bullshit books, like really unpacking your past traumas, healing from all the damage that the world, causes you and things of that nature. Red Pill actually doesn't put an onus on that. And it just tells men to go out and be a slave to capitalism, right? Because the Red Pill was invented by capitalists to further the capitalistic agenda. That's where it comes from.
Whatever you decide to do is up to you, but all Red Pill is, and y'all got to stop boxing everybody else into the same box. All red pill is telling you the truth of what's going on in the world. That's it. Nothing more. If somebody decides that he want to call a chick a bitch, then that's him. That don't have nothing to do with red pill. If a dude decide that he want to go and get married and give all of his money to his woman, that's him, as long as he knew the truth before he does it. All red pill is showing you what the truth is before you jump into it and put yourself in a situation. And then you can't say that I didn't know better before I did it. That's all it is.
So if that's the case, Anton, how you explained it, would you consider, because you saying that, I wouldn't consider Fit Fresh that then. How you explained it, I wouldn't see them falling under that category.
They do.
Because you kind of gave a positive outlook of what red pill is, and they're definitely
positive.
Red pill is not positive. What he just said is not positive. It is one of the, look, man, the family annihilators, right? If you try to understand why they do what they do, a lot of it is rooted in the ideology of, or the idea that a man is only as good as the money he can make. And when they lose the money, or when they, or they're only as good, you know, they're only important if they have a family, or if they have a woman, or if they and if the woman leaves him, or he takes a financial hit, then he feels like he has nothing to live for. And out of their anger, right, and entitlement, they kill everybody in their family and themselves. A lot of times, right? Sometimes they don't, you know, which I wish they would just start with themselves, but whatever. They end up killing their whole family and then themselves, right? So family annihilators, they buy into this whole idea of just like, yeah, go get to the bag, get to the bag, get to the bag. It is very toxic. It is very unhealthy. And it leads to not only the abuse of the man, of the people around the men, right? Because he doesn't care about anybody else. It also leads to the abuse of the man. The man is ultimately abused by the system.
Yeah, but what Fresh and Fit, they're not. I feel like they're a fake.
Again, the individual actors and how they use the information has nothing to do with whether or not the information is relevant.
So if that's the case, what I want y'all to do is, because this is what y'all do, y'all lump every woman that you don't like, that says something that you don't like, you lump them in with feminism and feminists, right? So if a woman, like you guys say that women who hate men are feminists, feminazis and shit like that. They're not. Women who hate men are not feminists. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You know what? I take that back. I mean, I guess you can technically, but it's hard to. It's hard to imagine a woman hating a man and still being a feminist. Meaning, it's hard to imagine that a woman would hate a man but still want to see that man, you know, still wants to make sure that that man's rights are protected and his sovereignty is protected. You know, because I don't see it doesn't manifest like that when oppressors hate the oppressed. Right? Like we get oppressed and they don't care about anything. You know what I mean? Like they don't care about our sovereignty and they don't care about anything like that. Right? So I don't know. Like I don't think that you can hate men and be a misogynist. I mean, and be a feminist, but you know, maybe, right? Technically speaking, but they will take women who they deem to be you know, misandrous, which isn't even a real thing, but you know, I'm just saying. And they'll be like, oh, that's a feminist or whatever. But that's not what feminism, he's basically saying the teachings of red pill is this. The way that the people try to use it, that's not red pill. That you can't call them a red pill. You can't say that the ideology isn't pure, right? It's a bastardized version of it to say the least. So you need to afford women that same respect. You need to afford feminism that same respect. Stop saying, because feminism is essentially the fight for equality, right, between the genders, the sexes, and you know, and everybody in between, the children, men, women, and children. That's what it's for. So if you are, you cannot be a person that doesn't care about men being protected and living a meaningful life and having equity in society. You can't be a person that is against that and still be a feminist. Period, point fucking blank.
You can take anything that's good and make it bad. You can take anything that's bad and make it good. Like you can take something, you can listen, the internet itself was not meant for what we using it for today. Some people take it and they do unscrupulous things and they do some really bad things on it. Other people take it and they use it for something that's good, or they use it to communicate or do more work more efficiently. You can take the tool and make it to be what you want it to be. But the fact of the matter is, it's just showing you the tool. It's just showing you the truth. That's it. Now, y'all want to take different people and try to label it because y'all mad at the fact that guys ain't operating the way that y'all want them to operate anymore. That's on you. I'm going to say the same thing that the women say. Who hurt you?
But they don't care about how the men are. I mean, that's not what the men are they're just becoming more hateful and more toxic. That's why they care. They don't give a fuck about like being with the man or like, oh, I can't control that man. Like, they don't give a fuck. The women don't care. They're just like, leave us the fuck alone. And red pill dudes will not leave women alone.
Yeah, when I hear a lot of the red pill talking points, it just doesn't seem like it's advocating for men and women to come together in a positive way.
It's not.
It's always about keeping women under your thumb.
Yep.
and looking at a woman instead of like a companion or somebody that can
like a human
actually add value to your life as like somebody to use, and they're an enemy towards you.
Because the fact of the matter is there's a lot of women that don't add value to your life. They look
okay, but there's also a lot of
he just yapping. Where are these women at? Where are all these women at that's doing that, Anton? There are far more men trying to destroy women than there are women trying to destroy men. What percentage of women are trying to destroy men? Name it. Without any provocation from the men. They just out to just destroy the man. Where are these women at?
Of women that do. So my thing is, if we know that there are a lot of women that aren't like that, why is the obsession with talking about the women that are toxic and are negative?
Because in our
sister, Jazz. Exactly. Why are y'all focused on the women who you claim to not like? Huh? And don't try to be like, these men be falling for them. They don't. They don't. You're lying.
Culture today,
if you are
more negative than positive as far as different women. That's
that's not true. That's not true.
Absolutely
that's
true.
What that's what then that's what men are. Then that's what these men are deliberately choosing.
We got a lot of. I see we got some pick-me's on here.
Then they need to choose better.
I need to get on this panel one day. I ain't gonna even lie to you. When I look at this, I'm like, all right, somebody hit me in the email me or something like that. Tell me how I need to get on here. I'll send it. I'll set it up. I need to get on one of these panels. To be honest with you, I need to get on one of these panels.
The majority.
Then they need to choose better. Then they need to choose better. Because if we know
for the majority, you do not solve for the minority.
No, but the thing is, Anton, you can play all these semantic gymnastics
good women.
Exactly. He what he said is right. You solve for the majority and not the minority. The majority of women are decent women, but now he's about to lie and be like, "Oh no, the majority of women are terrible and the minority are good." Like, shut the fuck up.
And then you have the majority of the women over here. They got the same fucking starter kit. They look the same. They talk the same.
And that's the minority. That's the minority. You talking about Insta-baddies, like you are obsessed with Insta-baddies. That's your thing, right? We know you cheating on your wife, Anton. More than likely. You are obsessed with Insta-baddies. Obsessed with those women, right? Those are the women you're talking about. That's a minority. That's not look at the majority of these women on this panel. No shade, no tea. They are not Insta-baddies. They look like regular nice women. They don't look the same. They all look different. They have unique looks. They're pretty. They're, at least one of them is smart. I think Jazz is smart. I don't know about the rest. I've seen some pick-me nods going on there. But yeah, they don't look the same or look the part of the Insta-baddie mold. They don't. Period, point fucking blank.
The majority of them think the same, they operate the same, and they doing the same thing against guys, and they getting the same results. Then you got to look at the majority and say, you know what? That doesn't make sense.
That's not the majority though, and that's what I'm trying to say. It's like it becomes the majority because everybody is hyper.
Based on what? Based on what? What evidence do we have to substantiate this? You just telling me that every woman is like this? Like based on what? I love what Jazz is about to say. What Jazz is about to say. I said Jazz. I meant Jazz. What Jazz is about to say.
Becomes the majority because everybody is hyper fixated on the negative aspects of women and men and dating in general.
Yep.
But you're fixated on the red pill.
I don't have these weird ass problems with men. Right, the women in my life, we don't have these weird ass problems.
I don't have problems either, but it doesn't mean that I shouldn't.
And I'm not around men. I'm not around grown single men that are established that have this nasty viewpoint towards women. They don't fear dating. They don't fear dating.
Made up in your mind, so it don't matter.
They don't fear dating because somebody gonna use them. They're living their lives and they're intentional with how they move, and they're also very selective on who they date. I think a lot of times these men, right?
Well, she got a good circle because most men ain't like that. Let me. Yeah. That's why I don't like using the men I know, the women I like. I don't really like to use that too often.
Who are obsessed with the red pill and kind of misconstrue the message, because I'm not saying there isn't a positive thing to take from.
Stand on business, man. It's not a positive message.
I mean, but I think they use it as a way to, like, instead of finding a good woman that compliments them, they want someone to dominate over because they've been played before.
It ain't even that they've been played before. They've been told by men. They've been told this lie that men, that women are, that every man is due his, he's supposed to have his wife slave. Every man is owed a wife slave, right? That's what the cult tells you. That's what the cult of man tells you or promises you. And they're like, yeah, I got to get that. And then the same men are telling them that you deserve a wife slave says, this is how you get her. You go get a job. You go make as much money as you can. You stay in the gym. You don't care about yourself. You don't be vulnerable. You don't, you know what I mean? Like you don't build your mind. You don't grow your intelligence. You do not grow your critical thinking abilities. Like you don't focus on things like that. You just focus on making money and looking good. And the girls will come. The women will come. If you build it, they'll come. That's what they tell them. That's the dream they sell them. That's the reality. That's the reality. But yeah, anybody, man, let me know. Y'all got to hit me, email me. It's in my bio. Email me. I want to see. I might have to figure out a way to get on there.